Hello, friends. How are you today? I thought that I would make a video and share some of the thoughts that are on my mind. I woke up in the middle of the night with some stunning insights, and my dog just gave a great big sigh. I thought that I would share some things that have come to my mind, and it's interesting because I make all these videos on the trends in the human resonance, and one of the biggest trend has been, this huge, incredible wave that I doubled the image and I mirrored it, and it was this incredible display of like a church-like, almost like, or a heavenly entrance. The energy was just, and the image was so incredible. And then as the weeks went on, right, the energy kind of, it took a few days for that to unwind in the chart. Like there was white resonance in the chart for some time. But then what happened is that I believe it was, it was on the 19th. So in the past few days, this like energy ball or this oval just like flopped onto the chart, like this is, something revealed. And it's so interesting because when I look at the events that have been unfolding in my life the last 3 months, as I've mentioned in other videos, there have been these shocking events, and what's happened, the energy of shocking events is, in astrology, is the energy of Uranus. And Uranus is a big player in these times. All the planets in the astrology wheel kind of moved into Aquarius over the past couple of years. And the last one left is Pluto, which is going to be moving in over the next couple of years. And it'll touch into Aquarius. And then it will take hold and eventually, move through. That's Pluto. That is my notifications. But, so I apologize because that's on. I didn't know that. But Aquarius is ruled by, Uranus. And it's the energy of innovation. It's like electrical energy. It brings shocks and sudden changes. But as this energy has affected me, and I do have a key event with Uranus in my birth chart right now, what I've come to see is that these shocking events are meant to bring us closer into the truth of who we are. And by that I mean the truth of our divine nature, of who you thought you were going to be when you were a kid, sort of. Before society told you to do all these things, before you went into school and you started being told how to think and what the world was like from their perspective, before you were influenced or affected by multi-generational patterns. And what these things have created in our society is a lot of traumatized and wounded people. And we're all traumatized in different ways. And as I say this, there's no blame here because the trauma that is sort of inflicted on you as you are going through life by others, right? Who are just traumatized themselves. And then we, inflict trauma on ourselves in various ways, or we go through life and things happen that aren't what we expected or what we thought or what we thought we wanted. And these things can be very painful. And so, you do the best you can. And you give forgiveness where you can. And, it seems like there are some things that feel like they can't be forgiven. And I think it's because there are some things that change our life indelibly. That when you're young, you don't understand this. When you're like a teen or when you're in your early 20s, but the choices and the events that happen to us, they forge us. They forge who we are. And I think the trick in life is to take these, both the ups and the downs, and the events that happen and the things that people do and that we do to others, and to learn to still have an open heart. But by open heart, what I mean is not these ideas of being vulnerable, not these ideas of, naively going out to the world once again and hoping that things will work out right this time. What I mean is, by having an open heart, is by being willing to live life again, face life again, and with that openness to the divine that is within us, who gives us life. In my view, that divinity itself, the energy of our own soul, is divine. It's from the source of all that is, right? From the Creator itself. And we wake up every day, and no matter what we've done, God gives us that life again, every day anew. And so what I'm saying is that, to me, what forgiveness is the willingness to go back to the beginning, go back to the divine blueprint, to the innocence and the childlike nature that is truly still a part of you, and be willing to live in that space again, and to go forward from there with an open heart to the divine, saying, I will live again. I will do this again. And I have the faith that God is working this to my highest good. And I have the trust that things will unfold in divine perfection in the ways that I can't even imagine with my mind, but that the Creator of all that is can wish for me, can offer that possibility to me every day when I start again and I live my life that day and possibly even with a new choice that results in the unfolding of something that feels like love, that is awe-inspiring, that is satisfying, and for which I am deeply grateful to even have the opportunity, right, to do it again, to face life in a new way, to embody my soul's energy and say, let's try again. Let's see what's going to happen. Because I think that God also gives us hopes and dreams. And I have found that these hopes and dreams, this sense of something that could be this feeling that a richness, magic, like something magical, something amazing could unfold in my life. And yes, I have images and ideas of what these things could be. And these things are so motivating. And I think the reason is because it is inspiration. It is that inspiration that wells up from within us, from the place of the inner child, the place of our connection with our own soul. I think the qualities of the inner child that you have within you, that I have within me, are the qualities of divinity. They're the qualities of the soul. And the soul just is so... You know what it's like? Do you remember when you're a little kid, right? And when you're a little kid, you get in a fight with your best friend, right? And you're so mad. And things don't go how you want, or, your friend doesn't do what you want, or, whatever it happens to be. And you're just mad at that person. And then days go by. And, at first you're just mad. And then suddenly you start to be kind of separated from whatever happened because a few days have gone by. And suddenly it shifts to missing that person, to remembering the joy, right? Remembering the fun. And you know what happens when you're a little kid? You pick up the phone and you're within that place of, like, that place of connectedness with that joy of saying, let's do this again. Let's go play. Want to go play? Remember that from childhood? And it's just this willingness and this ability to just drop everything that was, and you forget it, right? You don't even remember what happened, and you go play. And that's like the soul every morning when we wake up is like that with us. Let's go play. And, as we get older, we have this memory of, or we have these events that have happened, and then we drag them with us. And it could be that our life circumstances have changed. It could be that maybe it's that person's not there anymore. But, maybe they are. And maybe you can't pick up the phone. But I think that one of the things that happens all too often is that we can see the change in our circumstances, or the ways our life has changed. And we compare that not to the facts and the details of life, the what was, but we compare that to this place in our mind where we were creating an expectation at that time, and that reality that we wanted does not exist. And it was imperfection because it came from like this divine inspiration. And then you know, when things unfold and it's not what we wanted, right? And it could be that it's part of the human experience. Maybe we didn't put the effort in. Maybe the circumstances weren't right. Maybe we made mistakes. Maybe shit just happens. Pardon my language. You know, maybe other people don't have the same vision and don't want to roll that out with us. Or they have their own ideas and it's not compatible. But whatever it is, it's not fair to ourselves to hold ourselves and to hold ourselves to something that was or that we wished at one time. Because what it does is it leaves our energy in the past. And so we end up having this dynamic in the energy field like this. Let me see if I can create it here in the moment. Yeah, no. Shoot, it's not quite working how I want. Which is what the topic of this is. Hold on. Okay, so I'll just do it like this. So it's like I have this dream, right, at one time, and life goes on. It doesn't fully unfold exactly how I personally think I want it to happen. And so what happens is I move forward, right? But I refuse to let this go, or I refuse to change, or I refuse to be grateful for what I do have and the amazingness of things in my life now that weren't even possible when I had the original dream. And I take this with me and it's in my field, and it creates kind of a negative mirror that I can hold up to myself and say things aren't, you know, this is what it is. The perfection didn't occur. And this is what I think forgiveness is. I think forgiveness is when we take this detritus of the old dream, we take the detritus of the old experience, we take the actions, the energy that we've put into, you know, even separating ourselves or surviving whatever it was, or moving on, or whatever that energy was that it took. And and that's what this is, you know, the dream that didn't fully form here, the flower that in perfection didn't fully, I wanted it to copy perfectly, but it didn't. I take that and I let it be okay that those things didn't happen. I allow it to be okay. I accept that this was my dream. It didn't happen. And I'm okay with that. But God has brought other things, other amazing adventures. Even if I allow myself to see it, other miracles into my life. And so it's okay. There's a new dream. There's a new opportunity for inspiration. There's a new possibility of waking up this morning and saying, I will start again, and I will let myself wipe this slate clean. And that's forgiveness. And I let it be okay that this happened how it happened. I let it be okay that I had the dream in the first place, or that the event, or that something deeply changed and shifted in a way that really changed my life. And I focus on what is now. What is this now for me? Where have I been blessed? And I amplify that. And I go back to that feeling of the inner child within me. And I say, what do we do now? What do you want to create now? How shall we live? And I do that in the faith and the trust, right? Of the divine within me that provides for me, that makes each day new again. And I've been thinking about this pandemic that we've all been through in the past 2 years. And I've been thinking about the people who have faced it and the choices we've made, because it's affected, everyone in our society. Everyone has had to make a choice, except for the little children who have had choices imposed on them, right? Because they're in a family and the parents lead and guide them. And so for all of us who've been adults in this, or who've made our own choices, some people have been able to go through this. Well, no one hasn't been touched by the fear, right? Because it was a new situation. Dramatic changes in our society have occurred. But some people have gone through this with their connection with God intact. And I was watching a TV series. And in the TV series, it was Burn Notice, and it's at the end, and I'm not going to reveal anything. If you haven't seen it, I won't reveal anything that's going to, tell you about the story itself. But there's a extremely tough event that the main character goes through, and it touches on, he not only goes through the tough event, but it touches on, he has to review all these extremely challenging things that have happened to him in his life. And he survives it. And there's essentially a bad guy who is testing him, and there's a reason that he decides to go through these tests. And really what motivates him is his dream. His dream, his inspiration, and his love. And his love of the people in his life and his family. And all of this motivates him to go through it, and to go through what this character puts him through. And the character says eventually, do you know why you're here? In other words, do you know why I've chosen you? And even truly how he succeeded through this extreme test period. And this character says, you've been through all of this, and you still have a soul. What is it that's special about you, that you still have a soul despite everything that you've been through? And when I think about the pandemic of heart issues that's going on right now, right? People's hearts are breaking. And I wonder if in some crazy way, in some form of divine expression that is somehow sending us a message, that what we're seeing here is a pandemic of the heartbreak that has existed in our society, and just right there in front of our faces, all of these people affected around us. And maybe in seeing this heartbreak, up close and personal, within our families, within extended families, within friends, within our community, our society itself, that we can look at this, all of these breaking hearts, all of this heartbreak, and say, what can we do now? What is the meaning of this? And how did some people keep their soul? How did some people keep their soul through it all? And in keeping the soul, in not taking actions that led to further illness, right, beyond the initial cause. What made those people have the inner trust and faith, the ability to rely within on themselves? And I think that ability to wake up and trust God, that ability to wake up and receive the inspiration that you have, know that you're here for a reason, or be inspired by the relationships you have, the dream you have for your work, whatever it happens to be, that keeps us going, but also that makes life fresh, that invites us to love again through the heartbreak and the heartache, that renews us, and that truly, as living eternal souls, restores us. And when I say restores us, for those who are heartbroken and for those who are not, the restoration of the heart, of the human heart ultimately, is not about anyone else or what we've been through or what we've done. It's about restoring the relationship we have with our own soul. And if we dare, allowing that love that is the unconditional love of God for us, our own soul that we were gifted with, to pour through us once again.